Hi guys, today we're going to still do the quadratic sequence. You know by now how it should look, like the normal squarey thing that you're used to in quadratic equations. But now we're going to see, all the things we did in the previous lesson, we're going to now use to find the formula. So if you read through this at your own time, you will see this formula is like a normal quadratic formula, like your parabolas formula. The only difference, there's now n's and not x's, but the rest is just the same. And we're going to now in this lesson find out how can I find this formula, because it's a little bit more complicated than the previous one. So let's just see. There is the formula that we showed just now. So if I just take the first three terms, now you know first term 1, it means you must replace all the n's with 1. That is what they did there. Then term 2, you replace all the n's with 2. That's what they did there. And then they got that one. And they did the same with term 3. So there is term 3, just written out nicely. Now, what are they doing with that? They're writing that like you do normally with a sequence. They write that next to one another so that we can see this is my sequence. But now you remember what we also did. We always did right-hand side minus left-hand side. That gives us the first difference, T2 minus T1. And then also T3 minus T2, always right-hand side minus left-hand side. Now, if you look at the working out, 4a minus a gives you 3a, 2b minus 1b gives you b, and the c minus c gives you just 0. So the first difference will be 3a plus b. And they did the same for the second one. So there you'll see it. And then you remember by now, for quadratic sequences, you do have a second difference that is the same. So this is the important thing here. If you subtract that one minus that one, always right-hand side minus left-hand side, 5a minus 3a gives you 2a, b minus b is 0. So your second difference is just 2a. And in the future, we're going to use this 2a. You'll see just now in the rest of this lesson, we're going to use this 2a in order to find in the end my formula. So let's just see, if we do a proper example, how to find a. Now there's your quadratic sequence 2, 7, 16. It doesn't seem like it forms any pattern, so I'm going to check. I'm going to also always do right-hand side minus left-hand side, gives me 5. Right-hand side minus left-hand side gives me 9. I know there should be a second difference, 9 minus 5. I should actually make the arrow so that you can always remember 9 minus 5 gives me 4. So my second difference is 4. Now you can recall in the previous one, when we did our second differences with the formula, it came to 2a. So this little 4 there, let's just check on the second slide. That 4 there is actually your second difference, which we got as 2a. So there it's written down, and there's a way to find a. So now we found the a that is in our formula. Once we've got the a, there's just a b and a c that we still need to find, because remember, a in square plus b in plus c. So there's 3 letters to find, but we found the a. So how do we find the a? We always go to the second difference. And if you take your formula, the second difference will always be 2a. So whatever you find in your second difference, you just equal to 2a, and that will help you to solve for a, because it's a nice short little equation, and you can solve for a. A is equal to 2. But now what about the rest? You remember in a previous lesson, we also found T0. And I said T0 is actually not part of my sequence, but we need it for a specific reason. So let's check. It's exactly the same sequence. There's my second difference, 4. Now if I work backwards, 5 minus 4 gives me 1. And 2 minus 1 gives me 1. So there I found my T0. Now T0, if you just think of T0 is the one in front of T1, which is actually not part of my sequence, but that always forms the C. Because if you quickly think back on to this one, dn plus C, if I make the n a 0, what will be left? Just C. T0 will be equal to C. So there's a very easy way to find the C, the constant number in your quadratic equation. So now we already got 2 very easy ways to find the A and the C. So let's just summarize again. How do you find the C? You go back. This is method 1. There's another method as well, which we'll do in the second lesson. But for now, if you want to find C, you can just always find term naught right in the beginning, and then that T0, because it makes the D 0, because if you multiply by 0, it just disappears. And there's the thing that they wrote there. T0 will always be your constant number. So the minute I find T0, I actually found the C. So now I already have the C and I've got the A. I've got only one unknown. Now, when you've got one unknown, you can actually substitute in one something in order to find that one unknown. Previously, when I did previous lessons, you remember I always say, if you've got one unknown to be found, you substitute in one point. We're not busy with graphs here, so what do we do here? We take our formula. There's my formula. You substitute what you do have. You have the 2 and you have the 1, because we just now found it on the previous page. So the only one I still need to find is the B, but it's only one unknown. So if I take any term, and remember what I said previously, it's always easier to just use term 1. Term 1 is usually the smallest number. Term 1's value was 2. So if I fill in my formula, and remember term 1 means you make all the n's 1. So all these n's that you see there, they're going to become 1. So you'll just have A plus B plus C is 2. But I have the A, it was 2. I have the C, it was 1. And there's just one variable left, B. And you can find the B. B is equal to minus 1. And there's your formula of a quadratic sequence. It's a lot of work, so it seems more complicated, but it is actually not. Very easily we could have found the A, because the second difference is always 2A, so we could find the A. The C we can always find by doing T0, and you know by now how to find T0. You just work a little bit backwards from the second difference. That will always represent the C. The minute you've got the A and the C, you fill it into your formula, and you always use term 1. You could use any one. It's just easier to use term 1. Term 1's value was 2. So you equate it equal to 2, and because you've substituted the A and the C, you've got B, and there's your whole equation. Very, very easy. Let's do a proper example and see if you can do it all on your own. Determine the general term of the following sequence. So in other words, let's just see. 6 minus 5 is 1. 10 minus 6 is 4. 17 minus 10 is 7. 27 minus 17 is 10. So I can see my first, let's just say first differences. They're all different. If I now do the second difference, 4 minus 1 is 3. 7 minus 4 is 3. 10 minus 7 is 3. That's what I want. Second difference, that is 3. Now remember, we now got a method. I know my formula is, let's write it down here, an square plus bn plus c. So the a and the b and the c are the 3 things you need to find. The easiest way is to start off with the a. So you're going to take this a, and remember, we said the second difference is always equal to 2a. So we're going to take the second difference, in this case it's 3, and we're going to write down. So 2a is equal to 3. That means a is equal to 3 halves. You can make it 1,5 or 1.5, but it's easy to just work with the fraction as it is, 3 over 2. So now I can go and replace the a. I can just tick it off. I've got my a. The second easiest thing to find is the c, because remember, once I find T0, it gives me the c. So I just need to work backwards and find T0. Now there's not a lot of space, so let's just use another pencil. I know it's going to be 3 here, so if I work backwards like that, remember 4 minus 3 gives me the 1. 1 minus 3 gives me minus 2. And remember, if I'm not sure, if I look backwards, I just see what happened here. There's the 4 and the 1. If I do that, 10 minus 4 gives me 6. 6 minus 1 gives me 5. 5 minus 2, or 5 minus 2. What am I doing now? Let me just see if I'm right here. Let me just check myself. 1 minus 3 is minus 2. So if I do that, 6 minus 5, 6 minus the 1 is 5. 5 minus 1 is 7. That doesn't look very logical. I did not make a mistake, did I? Let's just check with me. 17 minus 10 gives me that 7. 10 minus 6 gives me the 4. 6 minus 1 gives me 6 minus 1 gives me the 5. So 5 minus minus 2 is 7. It seems right. So we'll just check afterwards if we 100% right. So that is 7. So once I've got my A and my C, I can now fill it in. So I'm going to take that formula there. I'm going to say Tn, the A was 3 over 2. The B I still don't have, but the C I have plus 7. And the minute I've got one formula with one unknown in, I can solve it if I use term 1. Remember, I can use any term. I prefer to use term 1. So term 1 will be 3 over 2 plus B plus 7, because remember, you're making the little n a 1 now because you're on term 1. And what was term 1? Remember, that orange thingy we worked out was term 0. Term 1 was 5. There. Remember, we do not like to equal signs in an equation. So this is just a statement, this part. We're going to use the back part now as my equation to solve the B. I don't like fractions. You don't like fractions either. We make mistakes with fractions. So first, I'm going to get rid of my fraction. I'm going to multiply by 2 right through. Multiply everything by 2, everything by 2. And then I've got very easy here. 2b is equal to 3 plus 14 is 17. If I take it over, it's minus 7. And it's minus 7 over 2. So now I found my B, I found my A, and I found my C, and I can just fill it in. A was 3 over 2. Remember, n squared. B was now minus 7 over 2n. And C there was plus 7. Good. Now, before I rub it out, I'm going to let us look at the answer because there's something there. Let's just make sure. Yes, I thought we made a mistake, but we didn't. There's my formula done with everything we've done previously. So I'm just going to go back and rub this out, take it off, because you're going to now try it on your own. Because remember, once you see what I've done, you will be able to know what to do, which we don't want. You just need to remember the formula and you need to remember the method. So there it is. There's your answer. And you can go and check slowly and accurately once you've redone it. Remember, when you do it all on a clean sheet of paper. You remember that 2a is always my second difference. So you can use that to find A. To find B, you work out T0. That always give you the C. The minute you've got A and C, there's only a B left. And if I've got one unknown, you just go to term 1, make all the n's 1, fill in the value of term 1, and you'll be able to find B. The minute you've got all 3, you just go there and you slot it back into your formula. And here is your formula, and you have your answer. And then, as always, we've got a few examples for you to go and practice with the answers at the bottom. Go practice them on a clean sheet of paper. Make sure you get to these answers. They're very easy, nothing more difficult. This is what we're going to do when we do quadratic equations. So there's nothing new I can teach you here. There is another method, though, to find the B, and we'll do that in another lesson, and then you can pick which one you like, and you can use that in the future. Good luck. I'll see you next time.